Namaste and welcome back for another very exciting episode. This week we're discussing the 5 love languages. What are the 5 love languages? It's a concept developed by Dr. Gary Chapman as a way of describing the different ways people express and receive love. Everyone has the ability to express and receive love. We all just do it a little bit differently. Understanding these languages can significantly enhance our emotional intelligence, our relationships, and help us as individuals feel genuinely appreciated and connected. This is more of a modern concept, but there's Vedic connections to this. So I want to explore this today, these 5 love languages as themselves and from an Ayurvedic viewpoint. I think it's fascinating. Remember, Ayurveda provides us a holistic framework for understanding human nature. That's the 3 doshas, the gunas, the mental types, right? And the doshas govern physical, emotional, and psychological tendencies and how we as individuals interact, connect, and express ourselves, and especially love. Similarly, these 5 love languages provide insights into how we're doing all these things, interacting, connecting, expressing, and receiving love. What are the 5 love languages? There's the words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving of gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So what does that mean? Let's do a brief overview of what each of these really kind of come down to. So number 1 is the words of affirmation. And the description for this given by Gary Chapman is expressing affection through spoken appreciation, encouragement, praise, and validation. I think a good example of that would be just saying, I appreciate everything you do. That's so simple. Just words of affirmation, or you mean so much to me. A verbal compliment as a frequent expression of love. That's a words of affirmation. That's the basis of it. Then acts of service is described as demonstrating love through action, deeds, and helping another person in practical ways. In the Vedic tradition, that's karma yoga, right? We find someone or something we're in love with, in devotion to, and we do acts of service, selfless service. We're going beyond ourselves in that loving, devotional way. In intimate or in a relationship in the modern world, living in the West, in the world, doing what that looks like is just doing household chores or errands unasked, or just cooking a meal, or any practical help that's offered without being asked. That's an act of service. And that really is proven to show that people feel validated and loved that way. And then the third is receiving gifts, and that is expressing affection through thoughtful gifts, any token of appreciation regardless of monetary value. That could be going outside and picking flowers or something, bringing home the person's favorite flower, their favorite food, their favorite ice cream, whatever it is. Any kind of thoughtful, personalized gift. Basically like a small surprise, a small gift that demonstrates that you're giving attention and consideration to the other person. And then the fourth one is quality time. And that's described as giving our undivided attention, our undivided time, our focused attention, sharing meaningful experiences, spending intentional time together, going on Sunday afternoon picnic play dates in a field of daisies or daffodils or whatever the flowers are in season. Other examples of this would be just spending time to talk without distraction, no cell phones, no basketball game, nothing like that. But like I said, planning regular date nights, planning regular activities that are fun and playful and exciting. Prioritizing in your life dedicated one-on-one interactions with the person that matters to you. And finally, the fifth one would be physical touch, which is basically just expressing love and connection through physical affection, touch, cuddling, closeness, hugging, holding hands, cuddling, any kind of physical closeness or intimacy that's showing support and affection. Those are the 5 love languages in a nutshell. Why does it matter? It's very important why it matters. Knowing ourselves and knowing our partner's love language helps us to feel loved, seen, and understood. And what that does, it enhances our communication. And understanding the love languages provide clarity in how to best express affection. What we need, our partner may not need. And so if we're giving our partner what we need, that may mean nothing to them. And they may think that you don't love them, even though you do. So understanding these love languages provides huge insight into the relationship. And what that can do is reduce conflict. It can reduce misunderstandings because we appreciate each other's differences. We appreciate how each other feels loved. So often people have a primary love language, though it's common to resonate with more than one. Just like a dosha, our body's dosha, we may be predominant in one, but we have a little bit of all of our own, of all the doshas. So identifying our own love language and that of the loved one, again, it's deeply enriching to the relationship, and it promotes this profound depth of intimacy and harmony, just like understanding our dosha does. So if we view it through the Ayurvedic lens, just like the dosha reveals how an individual gravitates towards a specific element, a specific proclivity, doshically, we gravitate towards specific love languages and how these preferences align with our individual constitution. So I think it's really a good time to explore the interplay between the doshas and the love languages. When we do this, we can profoundly deepen our understanding of the relationship and enhance communication, foster harmony in our romance, in our eros, in our family, and even in our platonic connections. Truly. So understanding it from understanding the dosha first, just a brief overview of the doshas. I think that's a little important first for those of you who aren't too familiar. If you're jumping in, this is your first episode, I recommend going back and listening to some of the other episodes, understanding Ayurveda more deeply. For a Vata constitution, remember they're air and ether elements, space element. Their characteristics are often people who are creative, enthusiastic, imaginative, and very communicative, but they're prone to anxiety, restlessness, fear. And in relationships, Vatas may seek connection, novelty, validation. They can be incredibly affectionate, but struggle with that consistency. For a Pitta who's predominantly fire, their characteristics are passionate, goal-oriented. They're very confident and driven, and that's beautiful unless it's too intense, and then they're prone to impatience or frustration or, in worst case scenario, anger. Pittas in a relationship would value honesty, directness, and maybe having shared goals. They're very generous and passionate, but when they're in balance, they can become a little bit domineering, controlling like that. Whereas a Kapha, who's governed by the water and earth element, they're very grounded. They're the most nurturing. They're the most patient. They're devoted. They're loyal. The downfall when they're out of balance is they become stagnant and resist change and become codependent or just completely dependent. Kaphas really need to prioritize in their relationship stability, emotional connection, and they're so sensual. They value affection tremendously. They're steady and deeply committed, but they're so committed that they may be focused so much on pleasing the other person, they struggle with expressing and fulfilling their own needs. What I'd like to do now is look at the 5 love languages and the relationship to the doshas. So words of affirmation, remember, words of affirmation are expressing love through verbal appreciation, encouragement, and kind words. And that's really, the trait is for individuals who value words of affirmation, thrive on compliments. They thrive on heartfelt communication and really the necessity of verbal reassurance. For a Vata types resonate really strongly with words of affirmation because they're naturally very communicative and they value that emotional connection. Compliments and verbal validation soothe their fears of inadequacy and maybe insecurity. A Vata person may feel deeply cherished if they hear something like, "I appreciate how creative and thoughtful you are." So with a Vata, use gentle, expressive language to make a Vata feel seen and valued. It goes so far, just a few words. For a Pitta, they appreciate direct communication and they prefer affirmations that acknowledge their achievement and effort. Praise kind of feeds their confidence, inspires them to be more continuously striving for excellence, to be the very, very best they can be. So a Pitta partner may light up when they're told, I adore or admire your dedication and determination. So keep affirmation sincere, avoid over-exaggeration. A Pitta will see that coming from a long way away. Really be sincere about it because Pitta values authenticity. A Kapha in this situation enjoys these words of affirmation as a form of nurturing, emotional nurturing. These kind words really would reinforce their sense of loyalty and their sense of self-worth. And I don't think that that's egoic to do that. I don't think it's boosting their ego. It's actually just boosting their confidence, which they need. They appreciate these gentle reminders of how much they're loved and cherished. And for a Kapha partner, they may feel that reassurance, that safety when they hear you say something like, you make me feel safe and loved. Your presence makes me feel safe and loved. That their presence is valuable to you, what it does for you. And for a Kapha, if you have a Kapha partner, regularly express appreciation to them. That way, a Kapha is not going to feel taken advantage of or taken for granted, and they're going to want to keep nurturing. These aren't egoic things. I think they're to be loved for who we are is really important. Then if we're looking at the second love language, which is acts of service, remember, this is demonstrating love through helpful actions, cooking, cleaning, providing support, ideally unasked. Individuals who value acts of service feel loved when their partners take practical steps that essentially eases their burden. For a Vata, those acts of service really help ground a Vata. It helps them feel cared for and supported amongst their often scattered energy. These practical gestures can immensely reduce their stress and bring a real sense of stability. A Vata person may feel loved if their partner, say, surprises them by preparing a meal when that person's normally not the one preparing the meal, or organizes the house in some way. So focus on acts that provide comfort and ease, avoiding, maybe not being so flamboyant, avoiding things that are overly elaborate. That could overwhelm the Vata actually, but just simple things, grounding things that are useful to them, not to you. For a Pitta, a Pitta who values acts of service that align with their goals and their priorities. They appreciate efficient and goal-oriented support. Pittas are very efficient. And any action that demonstrates your competency and your thoughtfulness are especially meaningful. Again, a Pitta might feel appreciated when their partner helps them meet a deadline or something, or organize their shared projects, something that's meaningful to them. Remember, we're doing service to the other person. So communicate about specific ways that you can help them. A Pitta constitution really prefers clear and purposeful gestures. So just asking what they need, what they want, is actually an act of service. For a Kapha, an act of service that deeply resonates with a Kapha is one that is a tangible expression of love and care. Something that may reinforce their sense of security and emotional connection, like doing the laundry, folding the laundry, remembering to bring them tea, remembering to wake them up before the sun rises and getting them to the gym. Truly, that's important. Kaphas do need consistency, so be consistent with these acts of service. They value reliability and steady effort. So those are the acts of service in the 3 doshas. The next one is receiving gifts, and this is showing love through thoughtful, meaningful, and symbolic gifts or symbolic gestures. Individuals who value receiving gifts appreciate these tokens of affection that reflect intention, that reflect mindfulness, thoughtfulness about that person. For each of the doshas, this is interestingly unique. I mean, each of it's always unique for each dosha, but it's very interesting, this one. For a Vata, they enjoy gifts that are creative, unique, and symbolic. They appreciate thought behind the gesture more than the material thing itself, just the thought of it. And I mean, really what a Vata partner might cherish more than anything is just a handwritten note or a handmade piece of art that reminds them of something you shared together. choose a gift that aligns with Vata's love for novelty and imagination. It needs to have something that's working on the creative side. For a Pitta, they prefer practicality, a high quality gift. It doesn't have to be expensive, just high quality, something that reflects their taste or ambition, that aligns with their goals or their hobbies, what's really unique for them. They may enjoy some kind of fitness gadget or something like that, or a well thought out audiobook or book if they still like reading a book with something in their hand. Present your gift to a Pitta with confidence and sincerity. Pitta values the effort behind it, truly. And then with a Kapha, they appreciate sentimental and enduring gifts. They value, really, they can value items that hold emotional meaning or symbolize your commitment. A Kapha person, as for a Pitta or Vata, it may not mean much, but the Kapha person may treasure a photo album or some kind of keepsake, or even like some special blanket or something that's nurturing and warming. Really focus on gift giving that evokes warmth and emotional connection for the Kapha. Quality time, I think that's universal, but there are different expressions of that. Everyone values quality time, expressing love through undivided attention, meaningful conversation, and shared activity. It doesn't matter if you're Vata, Pitta, Kapha, any combination of them, everyone values quality time. Every individual feels loved when their partner is fully present and engaged. What that looks like for each dosha is maybe a little bit different. So for a Vata, quality time, really Vatas do crave connection and validation. They crave that deep conversation and creative activities that will strengthen the bonding. So a Vata person may enjoy spontaneous adventures, exploring a new hike together, or kayaking down a river you've never done before. Any kind of creative project, engaging creative project. But the main thing is to be fully present and attentive while you're with that Vata individual. They're sensitive to distraction, so they need your attentive awareness. They need you to be fully present. For a Pitta, really a Pitta, I think, values more purposeful quality time, engaging in activities that aligned with shared goals or maybe intellectual pursuits. They may enjoy planning a future project or planning a trip or discussing meaningful topics, going on a hike and having a valuable, meaningful discussion, what's meaningful to them. And respecting Pitta's time and focus, because Pitta very much values their time. And doing activities that can match with their intensity and drive. That may be harder for a Kapha or Vata, but it's, we're trying to go beyond ourselves. That's what selfless service truly is going beyond ourselves. That's what yoga is. It's union. We're having union with ourselves, union with the creation, and union with our partner. So understanding ourselves and understanding our partner, if we want that union, is essential. For a Kapha, that quality time is something that's deeply nourishing. They may prioritize the emotional connection and shared routines. They may simply enjoy a quiet evening at home, watching some Netflix or something. Or just a long, slow walk in the trees at sunset, or on the beach at sunrise, or sunset, either way. But emphasize consistency with a Kapha, and really emphasize emotional depth of the time that you have together. It doesn't need to be a long period of time, but just when you are together, really focus on the emotional depth. And finally, physical touch. Okay, from the definition of Gary Chapman's 5 love languages, physical touch is expressing love through affectionate gestures, hugs, kisses, or holding hands. Who in this world doesn't need physical touch? Every human being needs physical touch. Actually, plants do too. Plants grow next to each other so they can constantly touch each other. Animals need touch. Everything needs touch. Anything in form needs touch. And individuals who value physical touch the most feel the most love through tactile expression of care and closeness. How each dosha relates to it is slightly different, but same. Every human being needs to be touched. And for a Vata, that physical touch is a kind of touch that helps them ground, reducing their restlessness, fostering their sense of safety. That could be a slow, warm oil massage or just slow hands-on healing. Use slow calming touch to calm the Vata's nervous system, a gentle massage, cuddling, holding hands, just touching their arm or their back with gentleness, loving, devotional awareness, and gentleness. Pittas, on the other hand, enjoy more passionate, purposeful touch that reflects intensity, confidence, that really is matching their energy levels. They like when you're present and assertive in touch, your confidence in their touch, that spontaneity in the touch, any touch that's exciting and awakening that erotic playfulness. A kapha, physical touch, is their primary love language, okay? They thrive on affection, emotional closeness, long hugs, loving long hugs, slow, gentle back rubs, although kaphas can do strong back rubs too. Gentle stroking of the neck, the hair. Prioritize with a kapha steady, nurturing touch that has emotional intent behind it. So enhancing our relationship through Ayurveda and the love languages by understanding our own needs and everyone else's needs, the person that we're in a relationship with, recognizing that the dosha-aligned love language of your partner fosters our ability to be present. When we can recognize what their love language is, we can be more present, we can be more connected, we can be more understanding, and they can be of us too. So we can have this conversation with them. We should share these love languages with each other. Remember, Vata partner thrives on words of affirmation and grounding touch. A Pitta partner values clear communication and purposeful gestures. Kapha treasures consistent acts of love and emotional connection. If there's imbalances in our doshas, all we have to do is understand what those are, and we can adjust. We can use mindfulness to restore that balance and improve the relational harmony. We can be aware of our doshic tendencies and what our partner's doshic tendencies are, and adapt to their love language, to their expression, and create more harmonic frequencies between us. Communication and adaptability. It's very simple, but we have to understand who we are. We have to understand who our partner is. What makes us tick? What makes us inspired? When we integrate Ayurveda's doshas with these 5 love languages, we can gain profound insight into the nature of love and connection. Really, I think this is a really amazing holistic approach that honors our individuality and fosters this deep, deep, deep understanding and harmony in our relationship. So regardless of what your love language is, aligned with yourself and align with each other. We can align our love expression to our uniqueness, to our divinity as individuals, and bring that together and celebrate the differences, unity and diversity. That's the beauty of the creation. No tree on this planet is like another tree. They're all unique. No tree is telling another tree, be different than how you are. We shouldn't do that to each other either. We should celebrate our differences. And in our differences, we become one. We can be fulfilled. We can be nurtured regardless. And we can resonate with each other on every level, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So that's the overview of these 5 love languages. You can, if you really want to go deep into that, you can look at Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages. It's a really beautiful book, and really go deeper into your Ayurvedic understanding. That is, I think this is a comprehensive way of really avoiding a lot of conflict in relationship, avoiding a lot of conflict in ourself, but not just the intimate relationship with our partner, but in all of life, how we interact with life, how we make love with life. I appreciate you for who you are, and I encourage you, if this was a valuable talk for you, if this was a valuable discussion, leave your comments, leave your personal experiences. If you have experience with these love languages, share it. Share what you've learned, share what your experience is. Share anything you feel value to adding to this community, because we grow together, we learn together through shared experience. And share this with other people who you may think need this, who may find value in this. And we can grow. We do grow one conversation at a time, one deep dive exploration at a time. Thank you so much for joining me in this journey. To me, I'm learning every single time you share your comments and your wisdom and your life experience here. We all do. If you're not reading if people are sharing comments and you're not reading the comments, read the comments, because there's so much value in shared experience. This is a community. Until next week, may you fill your hearts with love, express it in every word, and action we do. And let's make the world a beautiful place filled with love and light and beauty, and see the love and light and beauty in everyone and everything. Namaste.